Yeah, it's your boy Crypto Blood, and welcome to another episode of My Two Satoshis. It is February 20th, 2019. Shout out to my man UK Ranja for that song request today. Big Boy, Killer Mike, Jeezy. It is straight fire, man. Kill Jill. I love this joint right here. Thanks for the song request today, brother. What's good, people? Hope you guys are doing well today. Man, we've got some news to talk about. Let me tell you. First, I want to let you guys know, if you don't know, there's a new project, a new initiative to do the DAO all over again. The Ethereum DAO, if you guys don't remember, that was the whole decentralized autonomous organization that Ethereum tried in, I think, early 2016, late 16, something like that, which failed miserably, caused a rift in the community. From that, we had Ethereum Classic created, and Ethereum went on to do its thing. But this time around, we've got a new decentralized autonomous organization being created. It's called Moloch, and we're going to take a look at the details about that. They're going to try to do this whole ICO thing all over again, make it better for funding on the Ethereum blockchain. So we'll see what happens and see if that's going to be a success. And the second article, guys, is about Binance and their DEX that they're launching. You know, many people had high hopes, including myself, about decentralized exchanges in early 2018, but the liquidity was just not there. It's very hard to get a lot of traffic on those decentralized exchanges and create the right order books and flow for good liquidity to trade back and forth. However, you guys know that Binance has been creating their own DEX, and it's going to be crazy. I think it's going to be very big for the industry. So we're going to take a look at their recent developments and how they're coming along with that project. And of course, you guys know that the BNB token will be the native asset for the DEX. I recommended BNB middle of 2017, late 17, and told you guys in 2018, early 2018, to load the boat on that token, because they're really positioning themselves, I'm saying Binance, positioning themselves for that BNB token to be highly utilized and be in high demand. So we're going to take a look at both of those here shortly. But first, of course, guys, let's take a look at that market cap. We are currently at $134 billion. Bitcoin's dominance is at 51.7%. And if we take a look at where we are currently with the market cap, we've kind of hit another plateau here. Not sure if we're going to run out of steam or continue the leg up. And I've told you guys many times before that 4,200 was really where we need to see action above. So we're talking about a point scored above 4112, but really 4,200 is what I am looking to see price action above. So that'll be around here, 4,260. So if we can't get above that, then we may see another scenario where we take another leg down like we saw here. So let's just see what happens with that. I'll keep an eye out on that for you guys. But the first article is about the Binance DEX, and it says here that Binance has today launched a testnet version of its decentralized exchange called Binance DEX. And as the crypto exchange with the highest trading volume in the market, it could be the first DEX with enough liquidity to actually get used. Upon launch, it will support the coins XRP, TRX, and EOS, which have all been experiencing arguably too much hype recently. The Binance DEX will run on the Binance chain, a blockchain platform with 1 second block times that confirms transactions in seconds. This means the DEX will be able to verify trades faster than competing platforms like Ethereum. Once Binance chain is up and running, Binance's native token, BNB, currently on Ethereum's network, will be migrated onto it and become the native asset of the DEX, and will be used to calculate transaction fees. Such fees are not yet known, but coins will have to pay a $100,000 listing fee to get on the exchange. CZ, the CEO of Binance, said in a statement, with the core Binance chain technology, Binance DEX can handle the same trading volume as Binance.com is handling today. This solves the issue many other decentralized exchanges face with speed and power. The statement also clarified that rollbacks cannot happen on the Binance chain, which is when different nodes choose the longest chain to decide which is the correct version of the blockchain. This is a key part of Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies and raises the question over whether the platform really is decentralized. And it says here, the problem with centralized exchanges is they have a tendency to get hacked, or worse, lose the keys entirely. DEXs are lauded as a solution to this problem because cryptocurrencies are traded directly from one user's wallet to another rather than through a vulnerable intermediary. This makes it much harder and more expensive for hackers to steal funds, but despite the supposed benefits, users just aren't using them. In the last week, the top 5 DEXs had a combined trading volume of around 8.7 million. That's crazy. In comparison, the top 5 centralized exchanges had a combined trading volume of 5 billion, and that's only in the last day. Binance alone has a daily volume of around 1.2 billion, so if it can convert even just 1% of its current user base onto the DEX, it would have more volume than the top 5 DEXs combined. But can it buck the trend, it asks. So far, experience would suggest yes, even though ICOs had completely died out and there was not a willing investor in sight by the end of 2018, Binance's bespoke ICO platform managed to pull off a successful token sale of the BitTorrent, which, guys, remember I covered, raising $7 million in just 15 minutes in January of this year. So if anyone can make DEXs great again, it's these guys. Very true. And again, I've been very excited about this project here coming up. And one of the reasons I even suggested buying the BNB token was because of this DEX. So I think with the DEX, and they've got another project they're launching that will also utilize the BNB token. Binance, in my opinion, is really creating an ecosystem for the BNB token to flourish in 2019 and beyond. So will you guys be using this DEX? I surely will. Again, I like Binance as a centralized exchange. If I had to pick one, they are the best in my opinion, just infrastructure and security, but this will even take it to another level. You guys let me know your thoughts on this Binance DEX coming out soon. The second article is also out of Decrypt Media, and it's about this new DAO on the Ethereum blockchain called Moloch. This brand new breed of decentralized autonomous organizations that today swings onto the Ethereum mainnet is hoping to dramatically speed up Ethereum dApp development. At the same time, it's trying out a radically new type of organizational structure that could serve as a model for decentralized governance. Think of Moloch as a kind of venture studio or incubator such as Consensus, but in place of a shared HR department, resource allocation committees, and a CEO, the organization is fully democratic and bounded by smart contracts. At its core, it's a central guild bank, itself built on a smart contract whose funds Moloch members can allocate, leave to grow, or even rage quit with. So Ethereum developer James Young says that Moloch is an allusion to the Canaanite god of child sacrifice presented in modern context as a sort of god of coordination failures, fitting for the Ethereum network's current crisis of underfunding. Moloch is trying to solve the funding difficulties startups currently face. A vivid example of the funding crisis came last month when Ethereum inventor Vitalik Buterin dished out $300,000 of his own money for struggling developers. One person said, "We need more funding sources than the Ethereum Foundation and Consensus." Whiteblock is a founding member of Moloch and paid 100 ETH to join. He pointed out that among Moloch's virtues is that anyone with a strong enough proposal can become a member and access funds. Is a good way to level the playing field and let the community decide, not just an elite group of participants. Moloch is as much a sociological, philosophical, and technological experiment as it is a funding one. Where Moloch differs from other funds, Young likens it to an index fund, is in a means insistence on portraying it as a solution to the so-called tragedy of the commons, the observation that members of a collective tend to betray the collective when self-interest appears more lucrative, even if it's not. So how's this Moloch different than the DAO of past? It says the idea of a decentralized venture fund will be familiar to those who remember the original DAO, which in 2015 lost 70 million worth of ETH in a hack that resulted in the acrimonious network split. Whiteblock's Lim says, we're not worried about the historical DAO hack. Those issues were addressed long ago, so it's good to bet that security is top of mind. Even so, he adds, a risk like this is worth it. For Amin himself, it's a matter of simplicity. Less Byzantine hackable code and fewer features make it less dangerously complicated, he said, adding, not everyone can bum rush to join. You have to get voted in by existing members. But the article poses the question, isn't this itself a threat to Moloch's vaunted meritocracy? Wouldn't it create a sort of members club where the funds drip down through a tight network of friends? Amin's rebuttal to that is that the point is that if that's what's happening, everyone else can leave at any time. So the ability to rage quit acts as a check on any nepotism. Participation is voluntary 100% of the time. Young is less optimistic. He says, if that happens, I imagine others stop applying. He says, I'd imagine other funds by way of a fork would emerge. So what's the future of Moloch? It says, first, because members of the guild are technically pseudonymous, but likely friends to the core members, they will need new means to communicate with one another. So Young talks about creating a token-based chat system, and members would log in via MetaMask or their token address, cryptographically tied to Moloch's member roster. Only verified members can join the chat. And it goes on to say here, there's an extra long shot building up Moloch as a RuneScape style VR ecosystem where the rules of the game are mediated through visible and digital avatars conducting blockchain diplomacy as they stroll the office blocks. Venture capitalism, the video game. That's a stretch, people. I'm not gonna lie. I think that's a hell of a stretch, and we'll have to see how that comes into play. But what do you guys think about this new DAO that the Ethereum community is trying to, or has, and they're not trying, they've launched on the mainnet? We'll see what happens. I'm not too optimistic about it at this point. You know, the human factor, people, we have to always remember the human factor is the biggest issue. We're our own worst enemies, if you ask me. So you can't eliminate the human factor, and that's where a lot of this stuff becomes very complicated. And I'm just not convinced. I'm just not convinced, people. So you guys have to let me know your thoughts about this new DAO or DAO. And also let me know about that Binance DEX. I think that's going to be the hot thing for 2019 and beyond, honestly. And make sure you guys like, share, and subscribe. That's my 2 Satoshis for February 20th, 2019. Shout out to my man UK Ranja again for that song request. Kill Jill, Big Boy, Killer Mike, Jeezy. Yes, straight fire. I'm out of here, people. Holla!